Hi everyone, so I'm here today to talk about this Lisa Eldridge, what is it called? Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint, and this is in the new shade T1.5, which is supposed to be like a fair olive shade. My undertones I usually describe as like a cool yellow, but it's kind of a fairly muted yellow because I am very pale, and there are definitely people that are paler than me. But I am on the very fair end of the spectrum. I had a hard time finding something that would be similar to this, but let's take a look at the swatches that I did to see how it compares to other things in my collection. All right, swatches. So this is the Lisa Eldridge tint in 1.5. This is NARS Soft Matte in Siberia. I tried to find something a little bit deeper. Most of my foundations are like Siberia or lighter, so I was really kind of struggling to find options. The Maybelline Dream Urban Cover, and this is in 110. So it's a little bit more of a yellow tone compared to the more peachy tones of like 102. One of my favorite formulas and colors, undertone-wise, this is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra in 95W. Something that's a little bit lighter and also a good match for me, the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin in 12 Fair Warm. And this is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish in, let's see, Light 2. And for something that's a little bit more on the yellow side, this one leans a little bit more peachy, I think. This one's a little bit more of a cool yellow. And this is the House Labs Skin Tech, and this is in 30 Fair Cool. I tried to revive a very, very old sample of MAC Studio Fix in NC10. This one, depth-wise, is kind of similar, maybe a little bit darker, and leaning a little bit more peach and a little bit less of that kind of neutral, cool yellow. This is a really, I would definitely agree, this is an unusual undertone. And lastly, something for comparison, also a good match for me, a lot better match than some of these. This is the MAC, which one is this? The Studio Radiance in NC5, which when they redid the colors, NC5 actually became lighter than NC10, where when it was first launched, it was darker than NC10. I forgot one more thing I wanted to add. It's a similar formula, so that's why I wanted to put it on here. I can also, this is one of the few things I can actually apply with my fingers, like the Lisa Eldridge. It's just a good bit paler, but it still has a more yellow undertone. And this is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer, and this is in Fair 2W. So it's not as dark, obviously, but I feel like the coverage levels are pretty similar. The ease of use for me is similar, wear time is similar, etc. So you can see there it's a little bit darker than a lot of things that I have. I do have a lot of things with more yellow undertone, but nothing quite with this particular undertone. It is definitely unique among my fairly significantly large, pale yellow, cooler yellow undertone collection. So that's interesting to see. I do wish that there was a shade lighter than this because this is a little bit dark. On my face, it looks okay. You know, it helps that it is kind of the coverage I like, which is light to medium. And this is kind of, you know, on the light side of things. It's enough to take down my redness, even at my skin tone. I'm never looking to cover my freckles, so it doesn't cover my freckles, which is what I want. But the color is a little bit darker. I prefer something a little bit lighter. I feel like on my face it doesn't look too dark, especially under this lighting, which is gonna like kind of make my face look a little bit brighter than the rest of me. I do think it's a very nice formula. It applies easily, nicely with fingers, which for me, which is super rare. Usually if I try to like spread, it's gonna like settle into my pores and kind of slide off the rest of my face and just look awful. And this doesn't do that too much, though I do pat it in, gets a little bit more coverage, and it's gonna kind of get into those pores and also keep a nice amount of product in the other parts of my face. I'm 45 years old, and I do have some lines like around my mouth, on my forehead, more kind of visible pores around this area and whatnot. So I'm looking for something that is not going to settle into the pores. It's not going to look heavy. You know, the skin on my face is a little bit looser than it was when I was younger. And any sort of like heaviness to a base product is definitely going to kind of enhance that. And for this one, I do find that I can get away with only setting the areas that are more oily. I have pretty combo skin depending on the weather and whatnot. My T-zone is moderately oily, and then my cheeks and parts of my forehead tend to be kind of dry. I did get some flakiness. I've been using Differin again, like every other day, but that can cause some peeling for me. I did exfoliate before I put this on, but I don't think I got that area quite well enough. So there was still some flaking that it kind of caught on my cheek here. If you're looking for something that's kind of similar to this, but that is in a lighter shade, but still has that yellow undertone, definitely, like I mentioned in the swatches, really recommend the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer in Fair 2W. I love this formula. I can put it on with my hands and even like spread it out in a way that this doesn't spread out quite as nicely. This has a little bit more coverage, I think. I'm never trying to match perfectly to my neck because if I do, it can look really stark. And because of the redness in my face and I'm not wearing like full coverage, it's not going to take down the redness all the way. And so then it can just make me look kind of pink. I would say go for this if you're paler. This I feel like is a nice product. It's expensive and there's supposed to be lots of good skincare ingredients in there. I don't know. I'm looking to my skincare to do my skincare stuff. I don't care as much about my base. Like I want my base to not have irritating ingredients in it, so I don't want it to irritate my skin. But beyond that, I'm not really looking for it to do anything beneficial. The kids are being super loud. Isn't that nice? So the SPF that I am wearing today is the e.l.f. It's the dupe of the Supergoop Unseen sunscreen. So it's kind of that silicone-y, like clear-ish SPF. It is water resistant. In the summer, I need water resistant because I sweat so much and I don't want to sweat off the sunscreen into my face, into my eyeballs. And I also just don't want SPF like running down my face. So that, and conveniently, it also works pretty well as like a primer for makeup. Currently, that seems to be agreeing with my face. That may change. My skin has been all over the place. I did set small areas of my face today. I used the NARS Light Reflecting Setting Powder Pressed, which is my all-time, long-time favorite setting powder. I apply that with a damp sponge and it will keep it from looking too dry, and especially on my skin, everything looks heavier. Like the more powder I use that isn't like applied with a damp sponge, the heavier and older it's gonna look on me. So I did just like on my chin, nose, where I do have creases like around my mouth or lines where things tend to crease. On the website, it does say, I believe, crease proof, so you can wear it under your eyes. I have tried it under my eyes and my makeup, my eye makeup tended to slide down into the creases underneath my eyes, despite the fact that I set it. So that I think just, it doesn't work for me. A lot of foundations do not work for me under my eyes, so that's not a big deal. I just went ahead and used a regular concealer that I know works well for me under my eyes, something a little bit darker. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus and Light Ivory. I have a lighter shade in this formula, but this one is more of like a corrector shade, so it's not going to be too bright when I'm wearing something that's a little bit darker. So this, I know will, if I set it with the NARS powder, it will stay nicely and I won't have so much of my eye makeup kind of sliding into the creases. I do feel like though, I've had this makeup on for a few hours now, and I can confirm like throughout the day, it still does not crease in these areas. So I did set it with the powder, but they're not creasing at all. They don't look heavy at all. I think that for the most part, it definitely kind of lives up to what it claims to do. And I do wish that they would add a paler olive shade, and hopefully they'll also bring this shade and a paler shade into the foundation line. I did do a foundation review back when that came out. I had ordered a sample card of the lightest shades, and I think I would have to go rewatch that video, but I think I was kind of on the fence whether or not I wanted to order a full size. I don't think there was like a great color match in there for me. If they did like a paler than this olive shade, I would definitely be on board for that, just because the undertone is so unique, but I wouldn't want it to be as dark as this one. So let me know if you've tried it out, if you've tried this shade or any other shade, what you thought of the formula, if it worked for you, didn't work for you. Always love hearing from you in the comments. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you when I see you. Who knows when that might be.